Hey y'all, welcome back. Today I want to talk all about the movies that I watched in the month of July because it is nearing the end and I think this may be the best month so far this year. So the first movie I want to talk about is Somewhere Quiet. Somewhere Quiet follows the aftermath of a woman escaping a kidnapped captive situation and returning back to her normal life and her marriage. Not too long after they get back, the husband's like, hey, remember that big old house my family has out in Cape Cod? Maybe we should go there and spend the holidays. And so they do that. But not too long after they get there, we see stuff start to warp, and not only us, but the main character as well are wondering, is this happening or is this a trauma response? And we're all just trying to figure out what is happening. This is a really good thriller. It really messes with your head. It made me really angry and upset at times, but it was a good watch and I do recommend it. And this one is streaming on Hulu. The next movie that I want to talk about is IFC's newest horror film, which is Oddity. Now, Oddity was a very special watch for me. I actually had IFC reach out to me personally to give me some exclusive clips to release on TikTok, and it meant the world to me. It's really cool getting to work and partner with companies that I grew up adoring and still love in my adult life, and it was just a really cool thing, and it meant a lot to me. So, of course, whenever Oddity premiered an hour away from me at the closest on that Thursday night, I drove there to see it. I think this was the scariest movie of 2024 so far. I do. In recent years, I have not seen a movie do this well with storyline, acting, and jump scares all in one, but this one did it. But Oddity follows the aftermath of a woman losing her life due to a really strange night with a strange man at her door. A year later, the sister returns back to the scene of the incident with her sister's husband, who now has a new girlfriend, and she comes to just spend the anniversary of the death with the family. She brings with her a mysterious wooden box with a mysterious object inside of it. And this mysterious object is the absolute definition of nightmare fuel. It's horrifying. And it gave me nightmares. Like, it gave me nightmares. That was like one of the first movies this year, I think, to give me a nightmare, but it definitely did. Like I said, it's very well done. I think it's still just in theaters right now, but it is also, I think it was IFC and Shudder, so I look for it to go on Shudder soon. I obviously don't know, but I think it'll be streaming fairly soon. The next movie that I watched was a few days ago, and that was the film Humane that is now streaming on Shudder. Now, I remember talks of this movie a while back, and I was so excited to see it, but it really wasn't available anywhere until recently. But this is a dystopian type movie where it shows that the world has gone into a complete crisis, a shortage of food, all resources. There are just too many people to catch up. So the UN does an emergency meeting, and they declare that each country needs to get rid of 20% of their population. So the United States lets people enlist to themselves, and there's talks that there are not enough people enlisting, so they're about to start drafting people to do this. It's a lot. It's really deep, and it follows a wealthy family, their perspective of it, and it's really interesting, and it made me feel really just sad, and it was scary. Any dystopian film makes me feel like that. Like, I leave feeling really icky. But this one was a very good watch, and I cannot recommend it enough. Next up, let's talk about the film Maxine. That is the third installment of T.I. West's trilogy that also includes Pearl and X. Now, I did a whole breakdown of the entire trilogy, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but basically Maxine picks up right where X leaves off, where Maxine has went to Hollywood to pursue her dream, and she's actually made a pretty big name for herself in adult entertainment. However, that is not enough, and she dreams of a life bigger than that can give her, so she goes to Hollywood to audition for a scary movie and books the role. But some things from her past are being threatened to come to light and destroy everything. This was a good movie. I don't think it was the best in the trilogy, which Pearl is one of my favorite scary movies, so it's almost nearly impossible to beat anyways, but it is a good movie, and the trilogy is really well done. There is talks about another movie being added in. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of think it was great, leave it alone, but I would watch it, you know what I mean? So, I guess we'll just wait and see what happens with that. The final film that I want to talk about is being talked about consistently throughout the world, and that is the film Longlegs. Longlegs is, I believe, one of the most, if not the most, highest grossing indie film to date. It is incredible, to put it lightly. But I do have some issues with what they did with marketing, but let me just talk about the plot first. So Longlegs follows a detective who is looking into a string of crimes that has been happening for years and years, and they have not been able to solve this case or find out who's doing it. Well, I guess that means solve the case, but you know. But anyways, as she is helping investigate, she starts to realize that she may have some higher stakes in this and be a little bit tied in more than she thought she was originally. This is like a beautiful blend of Silence of the Lambs. It has some feelings of Hereditary in it. If you guys have seen Last Shift in Malum, there's a lot of that in there. It is an incredible movie. Not only is the storyline and acting great, but it has a really just unbearably anxiety-inducing feeling throughout it. Now, does it have jump scares? Maybe 2. They are scary, but like it's not that kind of scary movie. It's one that gets into your head and just like slowly eats away at you until you are having a panic attack. I'm pretty sure I did have a panic attack in that movie. Nicolas Cage is terrifying in this movie, and I think it's one of my favorite roles for him, for sure. You can tell he really got into character, and I know for a fact there was at least one person on that set terrified behind the scenes. There had to be. But now, when it came to the marketing, I feel like they did incredible. They did all this extra stuff. I mean, they really sold it. Opening night, I forgot what the amount was, but it was a crazy amount for an indie horror film. And it got people out, but I wish they hadn't really marketed it as the scariest movie ever, because it's not like that. And I think people went in expecting like Conjuring cheesy jump scares, and it just wasn't. And that made a lot of people say it wasn't good when that's not the case. So that's my only issue with it. I loved the movie, but I truly think anyone that says they didn't like it, it's because they were going in expecting something else and they didn't get that. But anyways, that is all that I've watched this month thus far. I'll probably watch one today or tomorrow, but I'll just put it into August. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about scary movies with you guys. And I will see you tomorrow to talk about scary stories.